Welcome to the part 7 of chapter 4 from Bipin Chand Modern Indian History Lecture Series. In this lecture, we are going to take Industrial Revolution and its impact, like how Industrial Revolution had an impact and how it causes the drain of wealth from India and what were the reasons behind it. Before moving to the lecture, I would request you to please go through this video lecture till the end so that you will have a complete knowledge of it. So, how industrial revolution started and what causes this drain of wealth. We have already seen in the previous lectures that the quit that is the Pitt's India Act and other reformist act. So though those act happened after this lecture. So this thing has been given in the booklet that Bipin Chandra after it. Okay, so don't confuse that these things had happened like before Pitt's India Act had been declared, then after these things happened. No, we had discussed those things in the previous lecture, but as per the content given in the book, I'm following that. Okay, so the industrial revolution. The industrial revolution started especially mainly from the British society. Okay, it started mainly through the British society, and at that time it was the Britain only that was going industrialized. Okay, so the rest part of the world were in the same condition. So it was like the Britain had a colonies in the most of the parts of the world, but the industrialization started from here only, and that all things we will see in the sociology lecture series, that how Karl Marx will be against that capitalist kind of society that was going through. So those are the separate part of it. Okay, so the Industrial Revolution transformed British society into a fundamental manner. Okay, so it led to like what does it mean that fundamental manner? So fundamental manner, it means like it is like there will be a separate people, organized way. In the organized manner it will be there, like there will be one labor class, there will be a one owner class, that is one capitalist class kind of things. Okay, so it is like fundamentally will be defined, like what kind of work these people will do. Okay, so that it means from this voice, like the British society is, that came into a fundamental manner. So it led to a rapid economic development, which is the foundation of today's high standard of living in Britain as well as in Europe, the Soviet Union, the USA, the Canada, the Australia, and the Japan. So as I've already said, like it was the British only, it was the Britain only that was getting industrialized, and through that those industrialization effect will be spread throughout the world. And later that we'll see that after the World War II, that instead of Britain, two most significant power will emerge. Which two significant power? One will be your USA and another will be your USSR. Okay, so these two power will emerge, but right now Britain is the at the topmost. Okay, so all the technologies, whatever the development were going to happen, the science technologies, everything was coming into the Britain, and the condition was poor at the time. What kind of poorest condition I'm talking about during this period? The condition was like there was massive smoky kind of things where there people coming from rural areas, they were coming to urban areas. Okay, they started to live in a poor sanitization. The environment of that city was very polluted. Too much smoke was there. Even if you see, there are few magazines during that time where the cartoons were portrayed in the form where the poor will have a very black faces. So it is not like related to any colors, it is related to the pollutions. Their face, their hands, everything has become black. That is a smoky kind of situation is there. And that's why that is the one main concern, that today we have a Paris deal, and in that Paris deal we can see that The most of the carbon emission that was produced was during the industrial revolution period. Okay, so that was whole scenario. So how industrialization was affecting whole all over the world. Okay, so the Britain was emerging, the rest of the world was constant. The science and technologies, everything was emerging mainly into the Europe areas, and after that, this technology will spread throughout the world. Okay, and how it will be spread, what was the reason behind the spreading of this technology? It is just the capturing of the reason that the colonial power, the British was spread almost all over the world. Like it was said that the Britain never sees setting of the suns. Like if in the another part, if the sun is setting, so in the another region there will be a sunrise. That was one concept. Okay, so industrialization. Okay, so industrialization was mainly happening into the Britain, and it was the first emerging country at the time. Okay, so until the beginning of 19th century, the difference in the standard of living, economical advanced or backward, was not marked at the time. So when this economically advanced or backward concept started to come, so it started to come mainly after when the new subject was introduced. New subject was introduced, something called sociology. Okay, Auguste Comte had introduced these coin terms and all. So they were known as the father of sociology. We will not jump into that. So when this economically backward, advanced capitalist and all will that term will be coined. So that term will be coined through when the Karl Marx, when the Karl Marx will come, and he will say that these kind of, there should not be equal. There should like he will say that why the people is earning more, there should not be someone else who should be earn more. Like if let us, I'm a worker, and if I'm work let us suppose I'm a worker and I am working in a factory of BMW car. Okay, I'm working in a factory of BMW car. Okay, now this worker this worker is manufacturing a car, but he does not have a capability to buy that car. Okay, but owner has the capability to buy that car. So that's what Karl Marx said, like why there is so much inequality, why there is so much income gap between that. If a worker is working there, he should have the ability to buy that car. So why you are earning extra? So there should be equality there. So this kind of logical thinking started to emerge during that period. Okay, during that 19th century and like in the 19th century. Before that, there was no such concept, that people were coming from the villages walking in the urban areas like a hell. Okay, so due to that industrial revolution that happened in England, that happened in Britain, so two classes emerge at the time. Obviously, which are the two classes? First is the industrial capitalist, who owned the factories, who were the owners at the time, and the second were the workers, who were hired as a labor class, as the daily wages. And in that daily wages, we'll see that women, the children of around 4 to 5 years, will start to work. They used to work until 14 to 15 hours. Even today, if you say people are working in the corporate industry and they have a policy of 9 hour 15 minutes, and within that 9 hour 15 minutes they will have a lunch break, coffee break, and all different kinds of breaks will be there. Okay, but these kinds of were not present. Like it was continuously like work like a hell to 14 to 15 hours, like and even they were like sometimes they were beaten up. Okay, there were some color like there were some discrimination based on the color, creed, like they treat like the people they are lower in race. Okay, so that kind of things were there. So the two distinct classes emerged during that industrialization. That was one of the industrial capitalist, another was the worker working as a daily wages. So the people from the rural were brought to urban. As I have said, the people started to move from rural to the urban, and still today we can see that people move from one state to another, like one from one local region to the another urban region to town areas to get good employment, to earn more. Okay, why is kind of this situation happening? It has been seen that there is lots of population accumulation in in agriculture area. Okay, so like in agriculture area, if it is requirement of two people only, there are 10 people of the family that are working for the same land. Okay, so the product of the land will be the same and the people is working there a lot, so it means like there is a high rate of unemployment. Don't go with that definition of unemployment. Unemployment definition is something else, like the people who don't have a job and are searching for a job, that will come under the unemployment. That kind of definition is there for unemployment. I'm excluding that part. I'm telling that there are extra people working here, and we will consider that it is just unemployment. That there is no use of them. It is like there is this land will be cultivated by two people only. So that kind of situation is there. So thus people will start. Thus 8 people will start to move from rural to urban area. Okay, to rural to urban area. Okay, so this kind of migration is still today is also happening, and that kind of migration happened at that time also. Okay, so the people started to move from rural to the urban. They started to live in cities which were full of smoke and filth. Housing was inadequate. Living in the dark, sunless slums where their working hour was 14 to 16 hours a day. Wages were very low. Women and children had to work equally hard. Like there was no difference between the children and the women. That's what we'll see, that the labor laws will come where the children will not be allowed to work, where the women will be where women will be given certain kind of restrictions. Men will work like a hell, but there will certain kind of restrictions and all. Okay, that we'll see. Labor laws will come and all. Okay, but right now during that time there was no such law. Children were even up to 4 to 5 years were employed in the factories and the mines. In general, work life was of poverty, hard work, diseases, and malnutrition. It was only in the 19th century that improvement in their income ages will begin. Okay, that's what I just now explained, that the children will not be allowed to work. There will be a certain working hour restrictions to the women and all. Okay, so that was a starting, that was the emergence of industrial revolution, that you will see that how it is pushing the people of Asiatic people, the African people, the Indian people into uh, those kind of inhuman activities, like treating them like inhuman. Okay, so rise of power classes, how the power classes rose up. Okay, so they had an impact on Indian administration and its policies, and interest of this class was completely different from East India Company. Okay, now what happened? See, now industrial revolution is coming up. Now industrial revolution is coming up. Due to industrial revolution, what happened? One new class emerged. Which class? Capitalist class emerged. Now capitalist class emerged. Now what happened? Capitalist class main aim is to do business. Okay, what to do? Business. Okay, now industrial East India Company had a certain different motive. That is a company, and these capitalists or these businessmen have different motives. They have a motive to do trade and to earn profit only. Okay, they are not a company like they were the company owners only, but they were different. Like these powerful classes were emerging in industrial revolution. Now they want to earn profit. Okay, so they wanted to do business with the India. Okay, that kind of politics we'll see, that Pitt's India Act and other Regulation Act will be there. Okay, 1833 and all. Okay, to to demolish the monopoly of East India Company. But right now it is I'm talking about the before that period. So right now there is a monopoly of East India Company. So as they grew up in the number, as the powerful classes numbers grew up, as the powerful number grew up, and strengthen political influences, it began to attack the trade monopoly of the company. Okay, and that leads to the different regulations of act imposed on the company later on, where we have seen that trade with the China opiums and all will be was there. That in the previous parts we already had discussed on that. Okay, so since the profit of this class came from manufacturing and not from trading, it wanted to encourage not imports of manufacture from India, but also exports of its own product to India as well. So now, in what manner they want to export to India? So the export of their product to India, like importing was there. They were importing resources at cheap cost from India. Okay. Now they wanted to export also. Now they wanted to export also, export benefit as well. So now in the export benefit, what they wanted to don't give any excise duty, any kind of duty on that export. And further uh, they wanted to demolish the Indian manufacturing goods. So it is like the product that they will send into the India, it will be the cheaper than the Indian products, and obviously it will be cheaper because Indian products was manufactured by hands, and these products were manufactured by machines. Okay. Now what they were actually doing in the economic terms, it was like they were dumping the products, they were dumping the goods into the country and were affecting the domestic market. Okay, that was the main motive. So company was given the target to export, and they had to do even after suffering huge loss. So it was like company had given target like you have to export our the Britain product to the India. Even if you are incurring the loss, you have to sell those products. Okay. So their trade increased 700 times, and then also it was not enough to satisfy their wild of the Lancashire manufacture is a place in the Britain. Okay. In the England area. Okay. So it was like their greediness was increasing, like they were selling their product 700 times expensive, too much expensive, 7 into a cost. Okay. So the greediness was not fulfilled, and they were continuously in a demand to increase their business. So British manufacturer found East India Company as a barrier for them due to monopoly, due to monopoly. Okay. So between 1793 and 1813, they launched a powerful campaign, and 1833 succeeded in abolishing the monopoly of them. Now, agricultural India was to be made economic colony of industrial England, and we already had discussed those reforms in the previous lecture. Okay, I think in the part 4 5. Okay, in the sixth article we have discussed all those. Okay, so the government of India followed a policy of free and unrestricted entry of British goods. No excise duty, nothing else. You just come, dump your products, and go away. We'll sell your product, even if at loss. Why we can sell at loss? To demolish the domestic market. Okay, so there was no protection kind of things from the country, like today we'll see that government provides some subsidy kind of things to products in India. Is a developing country, that's that kind of things India can do, and many times America has raised voice against it also. So Indian handicrafts had the competition with machine made goods. Indian handicrafts, handmade products, like from hand they can manufacture one cloth in 1 week. Let us suppose from machines, in 1 week they can manufacture 500 clothes. Okay. So these Indian manufacture through hand, they have to compare with the machine made goods. So to increase the demand of British goods in Indian market, officials started to advocate the westernization of India to develop the taste of the Western food. It was like how Indian people got the taste of tea. It was like they started to give a small tea to the Indian people, so that Indian people will like the taste of the tea. They will get the taste smell of the tea, and after that they will be addicted to it. So that kind of tactics they were playing, and similar thing is here also. So it was like, so they just wanted to develop the taste of the Western goods. How cheaper is that? And so that people will start to buy the products. So what happened, how Geo how the Geo sim got the business. They started to sell their Geo sim of free. Okay, it was like they were incurring the loss only. Okay. And when the people had the taste of that free internet, fast internet, unlimited internet access, they started to impose the price on that. Okay. So that kind of things that was British were doing, they were just giving the test of the westernization. Okay. So they decrease the land revenue so that peasants will be able in better condition to buy the product. So at during that period, they even reduce the land revenues and taxes, so that people will have a more money with them, and they will be able to buy. Okay. Okay. Due to the growth in invention and wide use of steam power, India had made goods failed to compete against the cheaper products of the British myth. Due to free entry, foreign products flooded the Indian market. No accessibility, nothing else. Further, due to heavy duty, import on the British sometimes even touched 400 times for the cost price. Like if Indian products is going to be exported in the British, so they have to incur 400 times, at most 400, up to 400 times of the price of the goods. So just see the dumping of the British product into the India, and Indian products were unable to send do business with the outside the India. They have to incur lots of taxes and all. Okay, so Indian exports to foreign countries rapidly fell down. So instead of exporting and manufacture, India was now forced to export raw materials like raw cotton, raw silk, which British industry needed urgently because they were manufacturing goods through the machines. So they needed those products. So now India turned from a exporter of finished good to a exporter of a resources. Okay, of the silk and raw cotton resources. So British industry needed urgently for plantation product indigo, tea, food grains which were in short supply in Britain. So British were promoting opium to other countries, including okay, like through that silk products, other food grains and all, tea and all. They were promoting opium. But the interesting part of the opium was that they strictly banned this product in Britain because of its poisonous and harmful effects. So just see how how evil mind they were. Like they were not allowing that product to into their country, but they were allowing to do they were allowing to do the business with that product to other countries. Okay, that's something called business stuff, dirty business. So by the end of 19th century, Indian exports consisted primarily of raw cotton, jute, silk, oilseeds, wheat, hides, skins, indigo, and tea. Thus, the commercial policy of East India Company after 1830 was guided by the needs of British industry. Its main aim was to transform India into a consumer of British manufacture and a supplier of raw materials. I hope you have liked this video. Please like and subscribe. This is a new channel. We really need your support. Thank you.